Hello. Um, I am in the middle of a weird grief journey, which I guess is sort of all grief journeys, but I kind of can't think about anything but Survivor because I'm not really letting myself. So today's video is going to be about Survivor. So this is a video about something that you probably don't care about. And if you do care about it, you probably don't agree with me because I'm told that's how the internet works. This is a video about the queen, not the Survivor queen, but in general, she's a queen, Michele Fitzgerald. I love her. She's amazing. And for those of you who don't know, also I guess spoilers, Michele Fitzgerald is the winner of season 32 of Survivor, Kaôh Rōng. And she won. She's one of the most controversial winners of the series because a lot of people think that the runner-up, Aubrey Bracco, should have won because everyone loves Aubrey. She's been named as one of the best to never win. She's great. She's a great player. I love Aubrey. Aubrey's a great player. I have greatly enjoyed watching Aubrey play every time she's played. Also, I am extremely new to being a Survivor fan, but boy am I deep. But the first season I ever watched of Survivor was season 40, Winners at War, which is a season of all winners, and it's sort of the pinnacle so far of the Survivor universe. So that was a weird place to start, but I had a great time. I think it's the best season, but I haven't watched all of them. I had an absolute blast, and Michele plays an amazing game in that season. But to understand Michele Fitzgerald, we must go back to the very beginning. Kaôh Rōng, season 32 of Survivor. Brains versus brawn versus beauty. Michele, a beauty. Aubrey, a brain. Nobody cares about the bronze because they are pretty terrible. Except Sydney. Sydney does rock. The rest of the bronze suck. Anyway, there's a lot of controversy. For those of you who don't, I guess my brain is in a very strange place right now. The way that the game of Survivor is a television show. It is a reality TV show that is the premise of which is you put 16 to 20, depending on the season, strangers, or sometimes not strangers, on an island with little to no supplies, little to no basic needs being met. They form a society. They overcome challenges. Some of them are quite literally game challenges, and win rewards and win immunity, because the whole shtick is that throughout the season, people get voted off by their tribe. Bummer. People get voted off, and the last person standing is the sole survivor and wins $1 million. So it's a little bit Lord of the Flies, the Wild Z, where you put people on an island and are who will win, who will succeed, how does society work, but less teenage murder. So far, no murder. And the game has evolved over the last 23 years. Started really as a survivalist competition and is now a real social experiment, it's almost socio-political machinations game. You have to survive being you have to not be voted out by your tribe mates. And you have to be useful to them. There are lots of different ways to survive on Survivor. And some of the most respected ways are the most flashy ways, are the brawniest ways that win lots of challenges, be big man usually in camp, the other major way is as a social player, as a mafioso of sorts. I'm sure you've heard of Boston Rob. Is the sort of machinations, puppeteer, pulling all the strings kind of guy. Usually a guy, sometimes a girl, but these people are cast as archetypes, so it's usually a guy. And you get to the end, and when you get to the end, the people that you have voted off the island vote for the winner. It's historically it was a final two. It has since like 2005 been a final three. So it is final three get to the end having won rewards and immunity challenges and survived just the conditions of being stranded on a desert island and built a society and survived the social mechanisms. You get to the end and the jury, this is the jury of the people you have voted out, votes for who amongst the three surviving castaways has played a game worthy of $1 million. Now, Aubrey is a very good player and absolutely played a game worthy of $1 million. However, the jury did not vote for her to win $1 million. And for that reason, there are lots of other reasons, but that is the reason that Aubrey didn't, that Aubrey is not the, what is the word I'm looking for? Aubrey is not the deserving winner of that season because she didn't win that season. And you know who did win that season? Your girl, Michele Fitzgerald, won that season. She's just often Michelle Fitz, and I couldn't remember the last part of her Irish surname. Michelle won that season, and for that reason, it is my wholehearted and ardent belief that Michelle deserved to win that season. It is a game that is built on the idea of building a society. It is a little bit less of a society kind of game now and more like social game, but it is a game that is about people. It is about the relationships that you build with people, and the most concrete signifier of this is a game about people and this is a social game is that the people that you have voted out, who have lived with you for over the course of anywhere between 20 and 39 days, the whole game is 39 days long, so the people who had lived with you and played with you and who you voted out are responsible for deciding who amongst you they want to give $1 million to. That is a key component of this game. And so when people say, oh, the jury got it wrong, oh, blah, 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 didn't deserve it, oh, this, that, and the other, the jury voted for them. And the jury decides. And so the jury is not wrong. That's what the game is. The game is you get to the end and the people there decide if you are the person who deserves to win. Aubrey didn't have a jury who liked her. And that's like a bummer, but that is the game. Michelle got to the end and did have a jury that liked her. They had a jury that liked her and didn't like Aubrey. They liked her more than they liked Aubrey. That is the game. That's part of the game. She had built individual relationships with all of these people and had not alienated them. So, there is so much conversation in Survivor fan community about who is deserving, who are like powerful winners, who are weak winners, who like didn't deserve to win. And would you believe that almost all of the players in like the bottom 10, there have been, how many seasons have there been so far of this season? 43, 2 players have won twice. There have been 41 winners of this game. Would you believe that the bottom 10, the weakest winners, the least deserving winners, are almost all women? Can you even imagine that people would maybe perceive women as less deserving of something? And a lot of those women, Natalie White, Amber Burkish, Mariano, are women who got to the end with a man who was perceived as more powerful than them and beat that man, and therefore are less deserving. And the thing that I will say, the thing I always say, is that that is a way to play the game. You play the game by getting to the end however necessary, and one real strategy is by getting to the end with a strong alliance with someone who the jury doesn't like, so that you will win. That is a real way, a real strategic way to get to the end, is to have an alliance with someone who the jury doesn't like, because this is a game at this portion about who the jury likes and who the jury respects. It's not just a popularity contest. It's who the jury respects, whose game they found more interesting and respectable, who they thought is more deserving. So it's not just I keep saying likes, but I mean that more like who the jury thinks is deserving, who the jury respects, who the jury wants to win. So like sometimes you get people on the jury who vote for like their bitter rivals at the end because they respected their gameplay more. So it's not just a like popularity, yada, yada. But Amber Burkish, season 8, All-Stars, made an alliance at the very beginning with the big mafioso man who like had this reputation, because they were All-Stars, who had this reputation as being a machinations guy who makes a lot of enemies. She made this alliance. Turns out also they fell in love. But she made this alliance at the very beginning of the game. He got a lot of the negative response from the jury and from all of the players, a lot of the negativity, a lot of the blame for decisions that they made together. She was a strong strategic partner in that team, and he took a lot of the fall for it. And she gets to the end, and she herself has said, a lot of people think I don't deserve to win. I don't know that I deserved to win because they only voted for me because they hated me less than they hated him. That is a way to win $1 million. That is a way to win a society, a social game. You get to the end of the game with a smart, strategic partner that you were a party in. You were a party in that strategy. You get to the end and you win because you are more respected. You had made fewer enemies. You crossed fewer people. The jury, the thing that I think that people forget is that the jury is actually an essential part of this game. And so you put people on that jury, you must be playing that jury. You must be playing a game that the jury respects, and you must make relationships with the jury that are strategic. Jury play is also a part of this strategy. And so getting to the end with someone who had too many enemies to win, that is jury strategy. That is a way to win the game. Skating down in the bottom, unnoticed, not making lots of waves, being a likable person, getting through the game to the end, a valid way to win $1 million. Because one of the amazing things about Survivor is that it is not about it's extremely not a scripted show. And it's not a scripted show because it's not easily scripted. I mean, people, like, it's hard to sit down and, like, write what can happen in Survivor because you have so many factors. There are so many people, and it is a game about people and interacting with other people. And so it's impossible to predict what's going to happen. It's sometimes possible to predict, like, oh, this person's going to win immunity. Oh, this is going to be a weak alliance. Oh, this, that, the other. But there are so many factors in the game that it is not an easily predicted game. And so there's not one way to win. You can win that game by being the most physically dominant person on a tribe, being useful, getting to the end. You can win that game by making strong final 3 alliances and sticking to them. You can win that game by skating under the radar. You can win. The goal of the game is getting to the end and proving to a jury of people who have their own opinions, their own feelings, their own relationships, proving to that jury that you deserve to win $1 million. And so any jury can make any number of different decisions. If there are different people on the Kaôh Rōng jury, maybe Aubrey wins. If there are different people, maybe they don't like Michele. Maybe they're not interested in the way that Michele played that game. But what I will say to you is if there are different people on the jury, then Michele and Aubrey and Ty, who is the third person at that final 3, he just didn't get any votes, that Michele and Aubrey and Ty play completely different games. They don't play this, Aubrey doesn't play the same game she plays in Kaôh Rōng if there are different people in Kaôh Rōng. That's the game. It's this group of people. And so if there's a different jury, it's a different game. And so Michele Fitzgerald did not only deserve to win, but is an amazing winner because she won. Every single person who has won the game of Survivor is a Survivor winner who is deserving of having won Survivor because they won Survivor. There are a couple times where there are some incidents that I don't really need to get into in this moment, but that do complicate some things in terms of deserving. However, another point, because that was just a really long time talking about the same point. Another point, it's an edited TV show, and so there's like a lot that we don't see. They're there for 24 hours, 39 days. There's just a ton that we don't see. A ton of relationships, a ton of conversations, a ton that happens that we are not privy to. And so obviously it is not a scripted show, but it is an edited show that has been filmed to tell us a very specific story. And so while things are being framed for us in ways that in ways for us to believe things or root for certain things, things are also being left out. And there's just like a lot that probably happened on Kaôh Rōng that we don't have a lot of context for. And so that's just like a real thing about this game. And then my third and final point is winners at war. Michele Fitzgerald wins Kaôh Rōng, goes to winners at war, and is very clear about the fact that lots of people believe she did not deserve to win, and that is why she is here, to really prove to herself that she is a deserving winner, that like this is a game that she is a part of, that she didn't win on a fluke, that she didn't yada yada yada. She's very clear about that. And she gets to the end. A game full of 20 of the best people to ever play Survivor. 20 people who of the 38 people who had ever won Survivor, 20 of them on an island. So these are 20 people who have already played the game and won it at least once, one of them twice. A couple of them had played more than once. Get on this island, and Michele gets to the end. She is final 3. She is the second runner-up. She does not get any votes. That's okay. This is a little bit of a complicated season, but she gets to the end. And that, in and of itself, to me, proves that she is good at this game. That she has proven herself by getting to the end not once, but twice. One of the only people to have ever done that. And she played the same end game that she played in Kaôh Rōng, and it got her to the end. She is known for, at the end of Kaôh Rōng, I think final 7 maybe, just absolutely pulling it out, winning immunity challenges, really navigating really complicated emotional relationships, interpersonal relationships with different twists and turns, and getting herself to the end, winning immunities and making relationships and absolutely pulling it out, which is exactly the same thing she does in Winners at War. She knows that she's on the bottom. People are saying she's going to be voted out. She wins immunity for the first time that season. And then she does it again. And she does it solving one of the hardest puzzles in Survivor history, sort of universally acknowledged, one of the hardest puzzles in Survivor history. It's like a 3-tiered thing that you have these little blocks, and you have to put them all so you make like little towers. It's very hard. Google it. Michele Fitzgerald, the only person in Survivor history to have ever solved this puzzle. She solves it the first time it ever plays in Kaôh Rōng. She's the only person to get anywhere close, and then pulls it out, comes from behind in Winners at War, final 6, I think, maybe final 7. It's a little bit complicated because of the edge, but comes from behind. Everyone is up. It's a big obstacle course relay situation. Everyone is up working on their puzzles. She is still fighting through the obstacle course cycles, trying to grab her puzzle pieces. Everyone has been up there. We have no idea how long because it is editing, but like a long time. Michele runs up those stairs, gets at it, and finishes before anyone has finished a single layer. That is impressive gameplay. That's impressive outwit, outplay, and outlast, which are the 3 sort of slogans of the show, is outwit, outplay, outlast. That is all of those things. And she pulls it out, and then she keeps pulling it out, making relationships, getting herself to the end, making smart decisions that allow her to outwit, say it with me, outplay, and outlast to get to the final 3. If you watch Kaôh Rōng and don't believe that Michele deserved to win, I love Aubrey. I think Aubrey's amazing. Aubrey is most definitely one of the best players to never win. That doesn't mean that Michele doesn't deserve to win, because she did win, and that's how the game works. But I digress. If you get to the end of Kaôh Rōng and believe that Michele is an undeserving, useless, unimpressive winner, you watch Winners at War, watch her do it again. Watch her do a thing that very few people have ever been able to do, get to the end twice. I'm not going to sit here and try to recollect and count them. There are just not a lot of people who've done it. And Michele did it on the hardest season, the universally acknowledged and also like extremely logically hardest season, a season full of winners. Michele Fitzgerald is a star. And also so is Amber Burkage. I really love her. And also justice for Natalie White. We can go into a whole thing about it, but I just don't find Russell that interesting. Women. Oh, also justice for Erica, obviously. There are lots and lots of different ways to play this game. And you get to the end. If you get to the end and the jury says that you deserve $1 million for the way that you played that game, you deserve $1 million, because the jury is an integral part of the game. It does not have easy peasy like rubric for winning. That is part of what makes Survivor amazing, is that there's not a rubric. It is about what the people think. It is about the society that you have built. So you get to the end and you win, you are deserving of winning. And also, you just keep pulling it out, being an absolute rock star in challenges and in those social dynamics. There are lots and lots of ways to win this game, and lots of people have done it in a lot of different ways. I really wish we didn't just value the ones that were done by men. I love you, Michelle.